is up, App Nation? It is Steve P. Young, founder of appmasters.com, the place you go. And every Friday, hopefully you go to learn all about growing your app downloads and, more importantly, those revenues. And today, I've got a phenomenal guest who's used social media to build his app, build a loyal community, and then build an app, a very successful app out of it. He's built the #1 LGBTQ plus fitness community in the world called PrideFit. I'm super excited to talk all about his journey today. So without further ado, let's bring in Sam Light. Sam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me.
I'm super excited to talk to you because I know when you and I kind of DM'd each other on Instagram, when I saw you on there, I was like, holy shit, I think I've made it.
Yeah.
Well, where do you want to start, Sam? I mean, talk to me about your journey. Like, where did it all start? I know you have 10 years in the fitness community. You were on Broadway as well. So, tell me about how it all started.
Yeah, so I was an actor in New York City for about 5 years when I first moved here. And during that time, I tried waiting tables. I tried catering. I was not good at it. So I decided to personal train and CrossFit coach instead. And I was doing that all while I was auditioning and performing. I was on a tour around the country. We were on Broadway for 6 months. And then the pandemic happened and I took everything online. I decided that I did not want to act anymore, at least not for right now. And that is when I was doing all the programming for my husband and I. We did a big part of COVID in Wisconsin, where we're from. And I was suddenly creating this community of people who really needed workouts at home.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the organic inspiration for how PrideFit started. We did not start as a queer first fitness community by any means. That's just kind of what we organically became. And PrideFit is a fitness app for queer people and allies. So it's very focused on helping people who have not necessarily felt comfortable walking into a gym feel like they can move their body in a positive way, where they don't have to be intimidated, where they can be confident. And it's been a really phenomenal experience. I get this question all the time of, why a gay fitness program? And honestly, that's a lot of why I wanted to come on here and chat with you today, because I think that the community component is the only reason why my business has worked. There are hundreds, thousands of fitness programs in the world. And if you can find your niche and you can find a community that really supports each other and lifts each other up, that is absolutely the best way to run a business. It's been such a phenomenal experience.
Sam, what came first? Like, I know you have over 200,000 followers on Instagram. Like, were you able, like, did it come right during the pandemic when you were building that community and people wanted to take their fitness online?
It started a little bit before that when I was on Broadway, and then it gradually increased throughout COVID. And then from there, we've just, as PrideFit has grown, my personal socials have grown as well.
And you said it organically started out, became a LGBTQ community. Talk to me about that. Like, was it a conscious choice to do it? Or did you just say, hey, this is what the community wants. Let's give them what they want?
No, it wasn't a conscious choice at all. I think that the fact that I was pretty open about my everyday life with my husband and working on Broadway, which is pretty queer friendly, I'd say, just made it so that the people who were following me, a lot of them were either queer people or allies.
Yeah.
So originally the company was called Lightning Health, a pun on my last name.
Yeah.
But I realized that everyone was was either an ally or part of the queer community. And that's where I was really scared to niche down. I was scared to kind of like call it something like PrideFit, where I was like, oh, but what if I'm going to lose my entire audience here? And what if it's not enough? And that was not the case at all. What people tell you, what your business mentors tell you about niching down is so true. And it is scary, but it's so smart, because either you have the opportunity to be vague and not really help anyone, or you can be really specific and help the group of people who you really want to help. And I took the latter after a little bit of soul searching, and that's when we changed to PrideFit.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because I think I have I got some business advice from somebody who looked at my website at the time and said, we are growth hackers and we growth hack the app stores. And the guy was like, he's not a technical person, but he's built a business. And then, so I'm always like, be careful who you take advice from. Cause he was like, Steve, I don't even know what growth hacking means. Like, you should remove that from your website. And then literally like a week before, 2 weeks before, somebody was like, I only reached out to you because you put growth hacking on your website. And I'm like, yeah, speak to your community.
Yeah, totally. Well, and that just reminds me that it's good to get feedback from people, but you have to be aware of who you're getting feedback from and what you're actually going to implement, get a lot of.
I want to say hi to a few people too. Miguel's here. Wise Devs, what's up? Romaine, good to see you. Looking forward to this one. Social media seems like something growing nowadays. Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
Karan from our team. And then Mark Robinson. Hey, Sam and Steve, what do you think about the mental health app space? What is your vantage point on this?
Man, I love it. I think that the fact that there are so many more apps in the App Store that are promoting mental health means that we're just taking one step forward toward people not only focusing on their physical health and this like aesthetic, but also focusing on how we can be more healthy mentally, especially because, and we talk about this all the time in PrideFit, we're very focused on sustainability. And we know that there's such an important relationship between when we are mentally healthy, it makes it so much easier to be physically healthy. And when we're physically healthy, it makes it so much easier to be mentally healthy. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah. The comments are already sneaking into the app. Sam, okay. 7, how you doing as well? So Sam, you got this presence. Did it start online as a community? Like, did you have a website? What were the early days like?
Yeah, we really had to bootstrap because I was starting to grow a social media following on Instagram, and I was using a third-party app called TrueCoach. And TrueCoach is a really phenomenal way of fitness coaches to be able to upload their own programming in and create kind of their own communities. It is such a good example of kind of like, you don't need to create your own app to start, build a business that has proof of concept, build a community, because otherwise you're going to have to spend so much money up front to try and build this thing that you don't even have any kind of proof will work. So I used TrueCoach for 3.5 years of PrideFit. Now, yes, you have to pay for it. Yes, there's like a certain fee that is attached, but it is so worth it, especially if you're able to create that proof of concept. Nice. And then after those 3.5 years, somewhere in like year 2.5, I guess year 2, I decided that I did want to create my own business or my own app, because I knew that we were outgrowing TrueCoach. What I was asking from TrueCoach, even though we were one of the biggest groups in the app, I was asking for very small things, and they just weren't able to provide that for us. And so I was like, yeah, I want to be able to cater this specifically to my community. I also want my app to be a one-stop shop. I don't want to have to use TrueCoach for this thing and then Kajabi for this thing. And then this, I wanted it to all be in one place. And that's where I started looking at developers for my own app.
Nice. So It was already making money, right? I'm going to assume.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
great
you're like, Harry.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, now that there's I validated the market. Now let's build our own app in 2023.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to?
Well, that's when it launched. We started the production of it in late 2021. Nice. So It took a while.
TrueCoach, was it just all web-based?
Yes, I think it's web-based. They have an app, but I think it's a web app now that I think about it. I actually don't really know specifically. I probably should know more about that.
No, this is a great way. You validated the market, and then you're like, hey, I'm outgrown this, because I think too many people try to be perfect from day one. And kind of like to our point about niching down, like, Sam, I didn't want, like, years ago, this is like 10 years ago, I didn't want to talk about ASO, right? Like, I was like, no, there's, even at the time, even podcasting, I was like, there's so many business podcasts, so I didn't want to do a podcast on business. So that's why I did one on apps. And then ASO, I was like, I didn't want to niche down because I felt like too many people were talking about it, but then I finally did it. And then I was like, oh, that, I can see different marks where I felt like I was too early or I didn't want to niche down. And I'm like, niching down made the perfect sense for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for music theater. I did not get a business degree, so a lot of this learning has been day by day, watching a lot of YouTube videos. I really love Skillshare.
Nice.
But I think that the big thing that it's actually been such a blessing that I didn't go to business school, because it meant that I didn't go this traditional route, or guess what is becoming traditional, of being like, oh, I need to have the perfect pitch so then I can get investors, and I'm going to then build this app from scratch and then be in a shit ton of debt. And I didn't go that route. I actually took it step by step. I took it in a much slower route because I didn't have that business background. I think that actually has really served me, especially because I talk to a business coach and whatever, and I'm always sad that I didn't go to business school. And he's like, you went to school for how to perform. That's not a bad thing in this industry. It's like,
Yeah.
it's fine. You're fine. You can learn the business stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's really not that complicated.
well, yeah, I mean, especially with ChatGPT now, you're like, wow, it really is in a bundle.
Yeah. What do you think you went right then? Now looking back on it, you said you went slowly. Maybe at the time you're like, this is going way too slow for me. But now looking back on it, you're like, I'm so glad I went the slow route.
Yeah, going slow meant that I could create a super loyal community. It meant that I could make mistakes and people were not going to be pissed off and leave. I have people who I can truly ask for feedback because they're friends of mine now that I've made from them doing my programming. And that's invaluable. I think that if you don't have that kind of connection with your members, you're going to lose so much data. So I think that's been such an incredible thing, is that yes, it has taken longer. And are we as far? Did I set goals that I have not reached? Absolutely. That's fine. I'll get them,
Yeah. I love it. And you have a unique approach too, because it's not just workouts within the app. You have one-on-one coaching, you have virtual events, which I've heard perform really well. So I would love your insights on which one's working really well. And obviously in the fitness community, we love challenges too.
Yeah. Yeah. What's interesting is I think I learned pretty early on that the tech of our app was never going to be the selling point. I take a Peloton class and I'm like, oh, this is the most incredible tech.
Yes.
They do such an amazing job of giving you so many dopamine hits and bringing you back, having amazing coaches, and it being such a seamless experience. And our app is great. It's phenomenal, but it's not going to be the cutting edge fitness app of the world. That's just not what we're going to be. We would have to invest millions and millions, if not billions of dollars into this app to do that, right? Yeah. So I knew that the best way that we could differentiate ourselves and get people to want to join PrideFit was going to be to lean into that one-on-one approach, lean into that community, because you look at the app store in the fitness space right now, and it's all AI fitness apps. And I think that as AI takes over, AI is great. I mean, in some ways, as AI takes over, it just makes people want a human experience even more. So if we can provide that to people, that is where our magic is. And so we've really leaned into that. Everyone who joins the app, we send them a personalized message. I actually got this from you. Bonjoro, I use to send
nice
video messages to our members. And then they also will do an onboarding with us so we can make sure that they're really using the app correctly and that they're making a plan. We're putting a lot into our investment up front because we know that that's going to be the best way that we can keep people in the long term.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay, we have some questions about numbers, and Sam has it. This is Bonjoro, and Sam, I used to do this all the time, but I create one video for everybody. But we have a community of app developers too, and I got this tip from a friend of mine. And he was like, "Look, everybody that joins his community through his course, he would send a personalized video to them, and he would just." Every day he would do 7, 10 or whatever, how many new communities, and they would love it. And so it's a great way to get people into the door.
I will tell you, I did 1,000 1-minute videos over the holidays this year.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
It really, thank you. But it took over my life. My husband, Jared, would be in the other room just being like, can you shut up? But it was really good. It was really good.
It's the best Cameo, right? It's better than Cameo.
Totally. Yeah, right.
Well, Sam, we got some people are asking about your numbers, about whether it's popular in Africa and all that stuff. So you put a slide for us. Thank you for being so transparent. So here it is. I'll follow your lead on this.
Yeah. So, I mean, PrideFit has mostly been organic. We have not had a ton of experience in the App Store just because I think that in our slow process, there have been so many things that we wanted to iron out before we like really go all in on ad spend, which is good and bad. I think that uh, there are times when in business you kind of be like, you need to be like, hey, the product is good enough. You need to now spend to grow. And I do think that we are there now. But over the past 3 years, I don't think that we were really there. I don't think that putting a ton of money into ad spend was our best option, except for during the holiday season. So you'll see in 2024, we spent about 30K on Facebook ads. We had about 618 purchases through that with a CAC of about $50. When we look at that purchase is for a 7-day free trial. And when we look at our trial to conversion rate, that is going to vary from about 25 to 32%, depending upon the month that we're in. Obviously, that's very volatile for fitness. And so we look at about a $200 true CAC, which means that we're looking for a higher LTV than that. And so when we look at certain months of the year in fitness, like February to May, we see that people who sign up during those months, the LTVs are much lower than during the rest of the year. And so there's a lot of give and take when we're looking at Facebook ads moving forward of how we are looking at the spend for each of the months that we're going into. But so far, we've been really successful with at least breaking even, most of the time having a positive ROAS. And we're at about 1,200 members.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Yeah. Well, is Sam full-time on the app? Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
Sam, I won't. Pretum says he has a particular type of app. So how about I just frame it this way without saying his app?
Yeah.
But anyways, he said, how can I build a niche community inside my app? What's the best way?
It's a really good question. I use Circle for our community. And I think that Circle gives you a lot of flexibility with, once again, kind of like how I use TrueCoach to do a proof of concept for the workouts. I'm using Circle to do a proof of concept for the community because it embeds directly into my app. And I think that it's not easy. Trying to get people to engage in these communities is like pulling teeth sometimes. You really, really need to be posting things that they actually want to talk about. Yeah. So I think that this is kind of my big realization for all social media, but it's especially true in the community as well. You need to get over this idea that this is what people should be engaging with and lean more into what people are engaging with. And that's how you create community. Yes, I know that if you're an educator, you just want to post educational content all the time. And you're like, this is such amazing education. And no one's engaging with it. And it's not a them problem, it's a you problem. You need to look at like what people are actually wanting and how can you change your content to be more appealing to them, because it's not a good piece of content if people are not going to actually read or watch it. And so I think my biggest suggestion for how to make a niche community is to ask your community what they want and to really lean into what works. You're going to have to probably try a bunch of different things and then really double down on the things that you're seeing people engaging with.
Sam, is it as simple? One of my questions I wanted to follow up with was, how do you discover what they want? Is it as simple as just asking them?
You can do surveys, but also, I mean, I think that like, I feel like I get aphorisms wrong so frequently. Throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's not right.
Close.
You really do need to be willing to try a bunch of stuff in your social media content, in your community content, and just follow what the numbers are saying. And that's not everything. The numbers are not going to be everything, but definitely you have this opportunity to test so much stuff. Like, don't So be creative, try a bunch of stuff, follow the numbers, and then make a ton more stuff with the stuff that's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've said stuff too many times. I've really lost it. So
No. And I'll give you an example too, Sam. We do these like app teardowns on YouTube, and I was like, hey, this app is making this much. Cause it was like, I was like, it's surprising that this silly app, like I did a Starbucks secret menu app that was making $8,000 a month. And I was like,
wow.
I can't believe this little tiny app that's so simple to make is making this much money. And then, yeah, like I tried it and it worked. And so we do more of that. And it just goes to like what I like, Sam, and I think this talks about what you said, like, hey, I didn't come from a business background, is I like adopting from other industries. And so I like to just learn from other people from all other industries and then think that, all right, what are they really trying to say? And how do I unpack that and then bring it into the app world? And that's sort of my unique approach on the app space was, hey, I don't come from the app space either. I came from the web space and growth hacking. So my mindset's always going to take that route too.
Yeah, I think the other piece of advice that I can give people for social media or creating a community is that most likely a direct route is not the best route, in that I know that you're going to say, let's take like my niche, for example. Let's talk about how you can grow muscles the fastest or lose fat the fastest or whatever. People are not really going to respond with direct education or direct comedy or whatever. You do need to tell a story. And I know that that requires a little bit more nuance and it requires a little bit more effort on your part, but people respond to stories. So like incorporate the storytelling, be willing to slow down and focus a little bit on that component of it. And people are going to engage more. That's just how it works.
Even in the early days when you didn't have the 200,000, did the storytelling work just as well?
I didn't do it. And I will say this is like what's hard about giving social media advice. Social media is obviously always changing. There was a time when I didn't have to do any storytelling and all I needed to do was do swipe throughs of different exercises and people were going to engage and that was going to, get you a bunch of followers and whatever.
Yeah.
But that is absolutely not the case anymore. There's a lot more nuance to it. Those posts don't perform well at all anymore. And so, I think that to answer your question, I don't think any size audience you have, I think the storytelling is important. But I do think it's very important today that when we are looking at content, that you are trying to be relatable. And the best way to be relatable is to kind of tell a story that people can say, oh, that happened to me. And therefore, I trust this person. I can take their advice.
I like it. Is that your framework that you use coming from a Broadway storytelling background? How about that? I'll just give it.
It's not what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be easier, but yes, now it is.
Okay. Find something that's relatable that people can kind of relate to. Maybe that's a personal thing that you went through, and then kind of share that as a story.
I will say none of this matters without some kind of background or being an expert on something. So I think that when people are trying to find their niche, this is a big problem, that you're like kind of, it's a shot in the dark of like what your niche is going to be. And it's like, well, it shouldn't be. There should be something that you are either incredibly passionate about or you have a ton of experience in. And there's probably only like 1 to 2 topics that could be,
Yeah.
And so that needs to be the background. And it doesn't need to be perfect. You're going to still learn as you grow and as you go, right? But you do need to have some kind of expertise in it. Otherwise, the best story in the world is not going to make someone trust you or take your advice.
I know there's a lot of advice on like whether it's the frequency of posting, the type of content that you create. What have you found from just like content production? What types of content work the best in building a community and also in driving app downloads and sales?
I think there are a couple of things that I've noticed. Firstly, consistency is the most important thing, but it's not because these apps reward you for, posting every day. It's because if you are consistent with your creativity, you will continue to be creative and hopefully some of your best ideas will come from the volume of what you produce, not from you creating the most perfect piece of content every time that you do it. So basically all that to say, some of your content is going to be horrible, and that's okay. But in that like trove of all the content that you've made, because you've been making content every single day, a couple of those are going to pop off because, some of them are going to be great ideas. So I think the consistency part is unbelievably important. But I also think that there are a couple of more nuanced ones that I don't have as much data to back up. And that's like, I do think that younger generations don't want to see your effort as much, which is annoying. But I do think it's kind of important in the content that you're making that it seems effortless. Those types of content tend to do really well. Yeah, I think you got to try a bunch of things and see what works for you.
Sam, I heard a great quote. It was like somebody asked Warren Buffett, I think it was Jeff Bezos, like, hey, if your investment strategy is so sound, how come everybody just doesn't copy it? And he's like, and he said, nobody wants to get rich slowly. To your point, it's all
Yes.
effortless. Sam, have you found, is there a right frequency? Sorry, you can, if you want to talk beyond that, go ahead.
No. I'm trying to think if there are any other really specific tools that I use for social, but I think that people don't want to be told what to do. And that's where the storytelling can be really important, because you can put your educational component into the story without telling people what to do. It's kind of a covert way of doing it.
I like it. Is there a right frequency? Sometimes you hear you don't have to post every single day. Sometimes people are like, Gary Vee, you're like, post twice a day, keep posting. Like, what have you found to be the right balance for you?
I mean, when I work with different Meta reps or different Instagram reps, they say that there is an average where I think people are posting about 10 reels a month. That is, you need to be posting at least 10 reels a month to be growing. I think that it's not that doing that somehow triggers your growth. It's that the people who are posting at least 10 reels a month, probably one of the 10 popped off and you got 1,000 followers from that, So I think the frequency thing is only important in that you need to be creating. You need to be posting and being willing to put yourself out there, because every once in a while, and it is pretty infrequent, every once in a while it's going to speak to the community and then it's going to pop off. And, for example, I have a friend who runs an e-com business, and he'd been posting a bunch of different videos that were basically, like from an outside perspective, they were basically the same videos. And he got one video that got 200,000 views on TikTok, and it was his best day of sales that he's ever had. And now he's basically recreated that same video, and it works every time, like to an extent, right?
Yeah.
And so it's all like, hey, you're never going to know what piece of content actually is going to perform. A lot of times the ones that you hate the most, the ones that are the most annoying, are the ones that people actually engage with. Yeah. So you just have to be willing to try. I don't think frequency is that important. Yeah.
I was talking to a friend of mine. She started her e-com business too. And she, we talked about like, sometimes you post something and you really love it and you want the views, and then you see the low view count and you're like, what happened? Like, I spent so much time pouring all my love and energy and creativity into this piece of content that just didn't go. How do you deal with that, Sam?
I'm actually glad you brought this up, because I was thinking about this earlier today. Social media has been such a big part of PrideFit and how we've grown organically as an app. But I've tried incredibly hard to separate it from my identity. I do create on these apps every single day, but very much like how I want my members to think about fitness and health. I want social media to be the smallest part of my day possible, while still getting the growth that I know that my business needs. That's the same thing with exercise. I want you to be able to exercise 45 minutes a day for the rest of your life, and you enjoy that, and it not be something that you resent and whatever. And that's what I try and the lens that I try and look at social media with, because I know that social media is such a powerful tool to grow my business, and it opens up so many doors. I also cannot attach it to my self-worth, because there's so many pieces of content that don't perform and it makes you feel like garbage, you know?
Yeah.
So I try not to scroll. I try and like do my 15 to 20 minutes of social media a day where I'm actually creating, or I have like days where I'm batching content where I'm doing like 8 hours of filming in one day.
Nice.
But I definitely try not to attach any of my like individual worth to that content.
Great piece of
Social
advice.
media suck.
Yeah, great piece of advice. I've deleted Instagram from my account, and I'll only have it on like a test phone. So if I really want to, yeah, and it's been awesome actually. I'm feeling really good. Sam, it's crazy. Like most of my feed is not even my friends. So like I'm like, what am I here for? Like I'm not even seeing my friends per se. I'm seeing people that I don't really know that well. I love seeing your posts, and I'm like, but other people, I'm like, I don't know these people. They're just like recommended or suggested now, and I'm just like, this is enough. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the exact same way. I'm not on TikTok. I try and really limit my time on Instagram. So yeah, I feel the same way.
Well, the Phantom, I think I said that right, is growth of the social media followers. Does that correlate with the success of the app?
Definitely. Yeah, because I mean, as much as we're doing Facebook ads, majority of our growth has been from organic sales that we do. And the only way that we can get our sales out besides email marketing is through social media. So we do these kind of like flash sales every month, and it's a really good opportunity to get people to sign up. And because we have a little bit of a higher price point than like maybe like a utility app that might be like $2 a month, we can afford to really invest, like I said, in those members up front, you know, and kind of say like, hey, we know that you're going to be around for a while, so we're going to give you a lot of individual touch points. So we do that primarily through social media. And as we grow our social media, that is, it warms the audience so much. You know, I think that trying to sell $150 yearly membership to a completely cold audience is definitely so much more challenging than someone who's been following either me or following PrideFit for a year, and they've seen our content, they know our ethos. So it's invaluable.
Yeah, I like it. And Seven asks, why Circle over Reddit or Discord or anything else?
Listen, we tried a lot of stuff. We did Slack for a while.
How'd it go?
But it was fine. But so many people are kind of like, I use Slack for work. I don't want to be on this for like my like kind of hobby or health stuff, you know? Or people are like, I don't have to use it for work. I'm not downloading this dumb app. So talking about Slack.
Yeah.
So it ended up just not being exactly right for us. It also like we couldn't put mini courses on there. We couldn't put resources on there. It just wasn't the right fit. Also, I don't think that we could embed Slack into our app the same way that Circle is open API. So like it actually fits really perfectly in the app. There are very few issues that we have with it.
Yeah. Seven has a bike app where you can, it's sort of like eBay for bikes, but you know, Seven, I think that'd be a great suggestion. Yeah. Diak, thank you for the kind words. I read it. I took a screenshot of it. I will send it to my wife, but thank you for saying all that. But I won't say it here. And Ace, thank you too, as well.
Wait, put it back up. I'll say it. I'll say it.
All right. I'll take it down. I'll take it.
Steve, you're the king of the game, dropping ASO tips that set apps aflame. From keywords to hacks, your wisdom is strong, helping many investors crush it all day long. It's true. You helped me for sure.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that, guys. The Simona says, Sam, do you use tools like ManyChat? Basically, when users comment, he automatically gets a DM.
We've looked at ManyChat. We've used it a couple of times. It's so funny. It's just that some of these automated tools or AI tools end up doing the exact opposite from what you want them to do. You think that people want an immediate response to you, and that's not true. They want a person response. So they're okay with you waiting a half hour until you get to their DM, or an hour, even 2 hours, if it's going to be from a human versus like this immediate response from ManyChat. We've just seen that people enjoy that human interaction more, you know? So
same.
We have not used it long term.
I hate it. Yeah.
It
doesn't feel good. Yeah.
No.
Seven says, thanks. I'll look into Circle. Karna says promote through push notifications. Better idea. Not sure what that means, Karna, but Sam, how have you guys utilized push notifications?
It's hard, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard getting people to accept your ATT prompts. As we're kind of rebuilding our funnel, we're making it actually much harder. We're putting a little bit of deliberate friction into the funnel, which I'm excited to start testing because, for example, we're making it at this point, when people sign up, there's a whole onboarding checklist that you can do. You can sign up for the community, you can sign up for your coach, you can sign up for your onboarding call with me. And we're getting rid of that so that you actually can't join the community until you have your onboarding call with me. And we're going to make the funnel be everyone goes through the same funnel. Everyone has to do that onboarding call. On the call, we sign them up for the community, they pick their coach. And so in that, we're also talking about the ATT prompt a little bit more because there's a section in our app where you can directly chat with us really quickly. And it when you send a message, it then prompts you saying, do you want to get notifications back, basically?
Right.
And so our goal is hopefully as we establish this closed funnel that we're able to encourage more ATT prompt selection. And then we'll be able to use push notifications more because we have such a small number of people who are opted in.
I see. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, Sam, one of the questions I get frequently is web to app. And I think it's definitely a growing, and it's already growing. I was at Apps Flyers event last week and I spoke there and hosted and all that stuff. But they were talking about how there's been 64% growth in 2024 for web to app campaigns. And I know you have a great web to app funnel too. Talk to me about this. Like, was this like just custom built? What made you decide to do this?
We initially were doing exclusively web to app. And I think that was not necessarily the right decision. It meant that people were not getting quite enough information before they were signing up for a pretty niche community. So then we really optimized our Facebook ad to mobile downloads.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized that we are leaving so much money on the table by allowing Apple that 15%. So we are going back to web to app. We're kind of streamlining that process a little bit more. Obviously, we're happy with our with our app flow at the moment. So if people download us from the App Store, that's great. It's just that our niche is a kind that like ASA does not really work for us. People are not like looking up like gay fitness app, right?
Yeah.
They're much more likely to see an ad on social media, and then we can take them to our web app flow. And that is going to be, I have a feeling, a much better funnel for us.
Yeah.
And I honestly have taken a bunch of inspiration from other fitness apps who have really good web to app flows, because a lot of times they've tested these things so well and they're going to give you like a really good base. So highest form of flattery, I would say.
I like it. And then the last thing I'll ask before we get into some jokes, Sam, like anything I missed from like the no cost social media brand building that you want to make sure people walk away with?
I think that consistency with social media is just going to be the best thing that you can do for your company. And remembering that it's not necessarily the content that you want to make, it's the content that your community is engaging with. So that's kind of hard to give up, but it's really important, because otherwise you will burn out, because you'll keep on making the wrong things. You're never going to get that engagement, and that makes it really challenging to stay motivated to keep on creating. So
one of the things, Sam, we started doing, because we're really building out our ad channel, like app production service internally, and we've done really good on the Facebook side of things. But one thing we started implementing every other week, we just had a meeting today. I'll meet with the team and I'll be like, okay, here are the clients we're focusing on that we need to create ads for. Let's come up with some wacky ideas. And I love improv, and so I'm like, you can't say no, this is a bad idea. You can only yes and all these ideas. And it's helped out. And we've come up with some really awesome creatives that one of our clients, we cut it less than half, right? We got it under probably a $2 cost per install now, and they started at like a $5 or $6 cost per install. And it was just through this repetitive looking at what's working in the industry, the TikTok ads library, the Facebook ads library, looking at your competitors, their organic reach too, and seeing what works, and then just sort of implementing the same thing. And it works.
It's been our experience as well. Also, the most organic ads tend to be the ones that work the best. You know, the ones that are kind of ugly, you know, everyone wants, especially in the fitness space, everyone wants to like look like an Adidas ad, and they just don't work. You know, they just don't work. So like trying to be as personable, tell the story, obviously have a great hook, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. I love it. All right, Sam. Well, let's get into our app audit segment, and we like to start off every app audit with some dad jokes. All right, Sam, you're the guest. You want to go first or you want to go second?
I'll go first. Steve, I'm pretty sure my first one I've heard on the podcast before.
Okay.
And yes, I did get these on ChatGPT.
I got mine on ChatGPT as well.
Okay. So if you know it, you have to answer like the real question. It's not.
No, I don't want. I'm not going to step on your joke.
No, you have to
never
ruin
do it. I'm going to ruin it. No, Sam. People have said jokes that I know the punchline. I just never step on your punchline. It's your punchline. It's your delivery. Okay.
Why don't skeletons fight each other?
Why, Sam?
Because they don't have the guts.
Oh shoot, that was low. I like it. That was not an indication.
My next one
of the
is
joke.
Better. My next one's better. I'm really ramping up. Okay, your turn.
All right, I'll start with my lamer one too. Okay, Sam, what do you call? Now I went to fitness jokes. I was like, ChatGPT, give me some jokes about fitness, okay? Because I knew you were coming on. All right, Sam, what do you call a lazy kangaroo at the gym? Sam's really trying to answer.
I was trying. What is it?
A pouch potato.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
There you go. All right. Now we're both Sam, so we're going to use our last name. So Y for me, for Steve. If you thought my joke was better, and put L. If you thought Sam's joke was better, and then Hisachu was like my creative producer, social media guy. He's going to pick a winner, and we're going to give a free promo out on Indie App Santa. And all you got to do is vote. So Y for Steve, L for Sam. Okay, Sam, let's get into our first app audit. This is Bella Luna. I'm going to pull up their app. I think we've already looked at this app, but anyways, there's a long wait. And so if you're willing to wait again in another year or two to see your app featured here, we can do that. All right, Sam, Bella Luna, what do they need help with? Onboarding, Paywall, UI, UX. But anything on the App Store presence, Sam, that you want to highlight?
I love it. I feel like it fits the exact aesthetic as my like horoscope girlies.
Nice. I love it. Yeah. I'm one of those now. Okay.
I think I would be, I mean, I'm not like huge into astrology, but like I like it. And I think it's great.
No, I love that stuff. I mean, I don't know anything beyond my family. So I know Aquarius, Aries, Pisces, and Gemini, but everybody else I don't know. What are you? Are you one of those four?
What are you?
I'm an Aries.
Okay. I'm a Scorpio, but my husband's an Aquarius.
Aquarius. Okay, I know Aquarius very well. So I know what you're dealing with, my friend.
Yeah, right.
It's okay, Jared. I love Aquarius too. My mom, my wife, and my mother-in-law are all Aquariuses.
He's just a bit of a hippie, you know, a free spirit.
Is he into science?
No. Honestly, I'd say he's like more into like, he's more the artist, Aquarius.
I love it.
Anyway.
This is the app, right? No, the wrong app. Okay. Celeste. Okay. Astro Bell. Okay, let's go into the onboarding for this. Allow. Oh, paywall right away, Sam. What do you think? So we got the paywall right away, and then they're using the Blinkist paywall for those just listening to the podcast. But any feedback on that, Sam?
I mean, in my experience, especially, actually, I don't even know if I'm the best test case for this, but I've downloaded horoscope apps before. Yeah. And generally it's because I have like a really specific need. You know, like I need to look at like today's horoscope, you know, like, and I do think that you have a really good opportunity with horoscope apps to kind of get people in the door by providing really good insight and like fun knowledge, and then people want to come back and pay for your subscription. So I guess it was a little startling to see the paywall right away.
You know what? I've downloaded this app before. That's probably why. So
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
you guys are voting for S's. Like Sam and I are both S's. So that's why I said Y for Steve and L for Sam. So you're gonna have to differentiate it.
I
Otherwise,
think
we're
it's
both voting.
rude. It's like L is lose and Y is yes.
I'm sorry. It's your last name, dude. I can't help it.
Loser.
All right, so I've logged out. So maybe that's why I got a different experience. What I would say to you, Bella Luna, would be what we found is, and this is what I've seen with other astrology apps, Sam, is just asking for the birthday. So I'm sure they have this, but also asking for all that info before you make me log in. So maybe you're just cookieing me or whatever the right term is for the app space. But maybe because you have that data cached in here that you already know, you did have my birthday already. But I do want to talk about this paywall a little bit, Sam. So this,
Mhm.
I see Cal AI do this too. We've got a new video about this Cal AI app as well. But I think this is the better way. So we all know that, well, not we all know, but Blinkist made this paywall popular
Yeah.
where we have
Yeah,
this.
I've seen this a lot.
Yeah. But I think this is the better way of doing it, where you break up the timeline into 3 different screens. And anecdotally, I think this is working better. We are testing it with our apps too, but I've seen other apps start incorporating this. And the reason why I bring this up when I think it's better is because Will, who is a co-founder of Resimi, he shared this on LinkedIn where he said, hey, we've been A/B testing a lot, 50 plus, and we've seen our free trial starts go from 8 to 22%. And he does ask you to sign in. I don't know if Bella Luna allows me to not sign in, but I did sign in. And Sam, these are good too for like, age. I don't know. So when I broke this video down, sometimes attribution is good enough. This is a good enough attribution
Right.
here. And then they do ask for a review, but breaking up this paywall into 3 different screens, I think it's the better way to go. And I'm seeing other big popular apps do this instead of what you have, Bella Luna. So you had test it. Let me know how it goes.
It's so interesting. I've talked to so many people about this recently. The friction is just so hard to understand because I have so many people who are founders who will say like, no, I just need to give the least amount of steps, get their information, get them in.
Yeah.
And then other people who are like, no, most likely you need an onboarding quiz, like get them to have a little bit of buy-in, and that's going to improve their click-through rate and their conversion rates. And I guess it might be specific to your product. Like I think that probably if you need a little bit more time to sell, give them more screens, and hopefully one of the screens that you put in is like going to like convince them. But I don't know. I think that it's a challenging thing to figure out for sure. You're muted.
Looks like other options did not allow me to log in. So what we found too, Bella Luna, and I wish there was a name, but anyways, having the paywall before the sign up screen actually increased sales by 52% for another client. And Sam, to your point with the longer onboarding or shorter onboarding, for fitness apps, one of our clients saw, yes, more people made it through with the shorter onboarding, but also less people bought. So the people who did make it through to a longer onboarding, especially in the fitness and education space, they end up buying more too.
Okay. I think that's probably true, but it's also really dependent upon what your onboarding is,
Yeah. And then Daniel said, yes, I did it and got better results on the 3-step paywall. So thanks, Daniel. I knew it. Trust your gut. All right. We need more votes. All right, Sam. I'm going to put the first one as a wash. All right, Sam, you can have S and I'll have Y. How about that?
Okay.
You're the guest. Okay. Well, this round would be good because we want more votes. All right. All right, Sam. Let's redeem ourselves.
Okay. Like I said, I got this on ChatGPT, and I couldn't make any adjustments. So
okay.
I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes.
Okay.
She gave me a hug.
I like it. You don't want to change that for Jerry?
No, definitely not. ChatGPT, it's so specific. I honestly thought that like with everything that I put into my ChatGPT, that they would have switched that for me. And I was like,
Yeah.
nope. They definitely know I'm gay.
All right, Sam. What's a runner's favorite subject in school? Sam's thinking.
I try. Nope, I don't have it.
No? Okay, I got thinking music.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, favorite subject for a what was it? A runner? Geography.
Okay.
All right. Put S for Sam and put Y for Steve, and then we will award somebody. And then Sanchi's ready to pick that winner. And then Sanchi, you'll cover all the S's from before too, and then we can have more of a bigger pool. All right. Lastly,
for
guys,
everyone listening on the podcast, you're really missing out because my dog is looking very cute in the background right now. So
yes,
bummer for you. You should tune in live.
Most people end up watching more than listening, which is shocking to me. To our point about like, I started this whole journey with a podcast and just creating content. And now because of the pandemic, I ended up going live on YouTube because I needed to talk to people. And now when I look at the views and the downloads of the podcast, the YouTube is the bigger channel now. Go figure, huh?
That brings up a really important point that I should have brought up before. Repurposing content is what social media is all about. And not just repurposing content, as in, if you have a podcast and you are also recording it visually, you should put it on YouTube and clips of it on Instagram and on Threads and whatever. But also saying, hey, look what content did really well 6 months ago. You can reuse it. Just post it again. Change the caption a little bit. No one cares. No one's even going to know. There's going to be one person who's like, I've seen that before. And you're like, okay, screw you. And then everyone else is going to be like, this is the first time I've seen this. And I love it even more the second time. So truly, wait like 3 or 4 months and then repost your best content. Everyone does it. Everyone does it.
I love it. Okay, we're going to have to write that down. It's on you. 52. Time Sam. We have to time Sam. Talking about repurposing.
Repurpose.
And we have to tag Sam. Okay, we have to do it together because we need those followers. We need
Sam's followers. Don't tell people that it was my idea that I do that. They're like, Sam doesn't make anything new anymore, which is true. No.
Emery said, to be honest, the dog is the one reason why I can't close the stream. So thank you.
I did that on purpose. Meryl, she's out.
Sarah's here. I want to say hi to Sarah. Good to see you, Sarah, Life Labs founder. Okay, let's get into the next app. And if you guys want your app featured in the future live stream, just go to appmasters.com/audit, appmasters.com/audit. All right, we got Luca's app, and Luca has this app. And I know Luca from Twitter. So, Luca, good to see you here, man. All right. It looks like one of those AI note takers. So remember more of what, but I don't know. But that's just what I'm recall AI, retain info and study, text summarizer, quiz, learn, and so much more. All right. Luca wants help with usability. But Sam, you want to give Luca some feedback on his App Store presence?
It tells me exactly what I think it would be. I think that's great in that, if I were a student or if I were studying for a certain test, I think that this would be something that I would definitely be interested in. It also tells me that it would probably be pretty easy to market this app because you're looking at a really specific group of an audience. And that's a good thing. Like I would never lean away from that. I think actually leaning more into it of, what kind of results students get from using this app might be helpful, of kind of saying this is how people studied for maybe if you feel like people are using it specifically in high school for AP stuff, I would talk about that. If you were more college, hey, this is for people who are studying for their LSAT or the GRE or whatever, I would also talk about that. I would get as specific as possible.
I like it. Yeah, Luca, with this type of features. I don't think anybody's looking for this particular type of app from an ASO perspective. So you're going to have to figure out whether it's social media or an ad channel. You have to figure out other ways to drive downloads because just like Sam said, nobody's looking for gay fitness. You're going to have to figure out a different channel for this. So that's unless you go into the AI note taker route too.
Right.
Yeah. And I just wanted to know if AI test prep was still here. So let me know in the comments if you're still here. Okay. Let's get into his app. All right, Luca. Remember what you read, listen, and watch. Okay, let's begin. Summarizer. I like it. It's good UI, UX, key concepts, simplify, clarify, and anchor. Self-testing. Let's see. Yeah, it's good for studying. Okay. I like it. Help us grow. The link takes a few seconds. Leave us a review. A lot of apps are doing it now. I think it's better to do the ask for a rating before the paywall. Allow notifications. I like how you said not now. I'm going to allow it for now. Okay, great. Cool. All right. Sam, we're at the magic moment, the
People
paywall.
love this. They really
People love it, right?
Yeah,
Let's do in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't like how no thanks is so close to start free week. And we had one client, Sam, that we had free, imagine 3 columns, free, monthly, yearly. And when we removed that free column and just left the little X, the X was already in the corner. So we had an X up top right corner. And then we had free, monthly, yearly. When we dropped the free option, which I've been begging them to do, we saw 2x the revenues. So
Definitely.
Don't make your net yes and your no so close together.
Yeah. I think that's smart. What got me is that I really thought this would be more for studying than for like a hobbyist who just wants to like remember their book a little bit better. Mostly because like I just wouldn't do that for a random book that I'm reading. If I was reading like a self-help or like a workbook, definitely. But as much as I like the relatability of the Harry Potter example, we wouldn't use this app for Harry Potter, I don't think. And so it might be more beneficial to look for the most universal example of how people are using this app and use that example instead. Just so that I have a much clearer idea of like exactly what can I translate? What will this translate to in my life? And honestly, it might give you the opportunity to say like your onboarding might be able to be tailored to a different audience, depending upon like if they answer one question like, hey, are you a student or are you just trying to remember like business books or like whatever, you can have like a specific onboarding for each population.
I like it. I like it. And then he has a discount, Luca. And I've been saying the discount, Luca. I shared this case study. I wouldn't do a trial on my discounted yearly. I would just remove the trial because they're either in there or they're out. Because even if they activate a trial, not 100% are going to actually end up paying you. So just keep that in mind. And then what we found, Sam, is the pay what you want model. So like if you slide the app, let me see if I can have one. Oh, here, this is our app. So I'll show you this. This one works pretty well in letting them control the discount versus you just showing it. So that one works pretty well too.
Yeah, cool.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I like your feedback, Sam, because I don't know. There's certain books I'm just like, some books I just don't even want to remember. I'm like, forget it.
Well, that's true.
All right.
Some books are so hard to get through that like you're kind of like, am I going to add extra homework to this? You know, like so I think I would absolutely use this when I'm studying for a specific class that I'm taking. Like that's like what I am kind of thinking of. So that is the direction that I would go in.
Yeah. And there's, I like that direction because Luca, I know that people are looking for study timers, right? And so you can sort of weave your way into that from an ASO and ASA perspective, because then if you're like, hey, people want this studying thing, maybe you add a study timer feature and you can go after that keyword, but that study timer feature also helps them remember stuff too. So
also, Luca, like We have zero experience in your app right now. So like truly, if that's not the direction you want to go in, like
Don't
screw
listen to us.
us, you know,
Yeah,
like don't listen to
agreed.
us at all.
Yeah.
But that is just the first reaction that I had was like, oh, this is like for me, like studying for a class. And so if that's not what you want, then maybe there's just like a slight shift that you can make to like your screenshots or something.
Oh. Sanchi, you ready to go, bro? Let's see if I'm going to wait for him. Okay, he's ready. All right, let me add you to the stage. All right, we got our winner, right? Sanchi, who won the dad joke round?
Okay, so let me
get some drum roll.
screen.
Hold on one second. Wait, no. Who won just for between me and Sam? I mean, who cares about the listeners right now? I just want to know if I beat Sam. That's all I care about.
Obviously, Steve.
Yes, thank you.
What in the world?
Sorry, Sam. Yeah. I'm pretty much undefeated. I've lost a couple of times, but all right. And then we got our winner for our Indie App Santa promo. So thank you guys for voting for a winner. Oh, perfect. Adrian, I know Adrian. Adrian, I'll reach out to you. We'll hook you up with the free Indie App Santa promo. It's perfectly aligned. I know Adrian's refocusing on his app as well. Celtic Whispers. Sanchi, thank you so much, man. Anything else you want to while you're here?
Yep. No, all good.
All right. Thanks, man. I love having them all. All right. Sam, anything I missed before we say goodbye?
No, sir.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sam, for coming on. I'm going to plug everything else right now for Sam. It is called Pride Fit. If you are in the community and you just want to sweat and build some muscle and be an ally, go check out pridefit.com. Check out on the web, will you? It's better for Sam. It's better for all of us. So pridefit.com. And once you've signed up, go check out the app Pride Fit in your favorite app stores as well. And you can find all the socials linked up into your favorite podcast app. Sam, if the audience wants to connect with you in any other way, do you want to send them anywhere else?
You can connect with me on Instagram. It's probably the best way, either on PrideFit or on my personal, which is Lightning.
Yeah. And look, Sam will, if you DM him, he will respond. It's not a mini chat, right?
I will.
It's a real person.
It's not many chat.
All right. Adrian says, thank you, Steve and Sam. Super fun. This was super awesome as well. Next week, guys, it's just going to be me. Just me. And so I'll probably battle Hisanchu. How about you, Hisanchu? I'll battle you for the dad joke round. And then we're going to share. So it's more of an AMA. If you got any questions, we're going to send an email out. Make sure you put that. And then if you got questions in the comments, I'll answer all of your questions that you want, along with some localization tips, early localization tips that we're seeing pretty good success on as well. Sam, thank you so much for coming on and doing this, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching.